What could an 8-year-old girl with nothing but a piece of candy possibly give to a broken millionaire who'd lost everything? And why would her simple gift become the greatest fortune he'd ever receive? A wealthy businessman who lost everything to betrayal finds salvation through a poor child's kindness, transforming from a suicidal stranger on a park bench into a man who discovers that true wealth isn't measured in money, but in the family you choose and the lives you touch. Tell us in the comments where you're watching this video from, and may you be blessed with favor and the light of success as you subscribe to this channel. The December wind bit through Golden Gate Park like a knife. Robert Mitchell sat hunched on a cold bench, his expensive suit now wrinkled and dirty. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. His stomach ached with hunger. But food seemed meaningless when his entire world had crumbled. 3 days ago, he had everything. A wife, a son, a successful business, respect. Today, nothing. His wife confessed that the boy he'd raised for 8 years wasn't his. His closest friend, David, was the real father. That betrayal shattered something inside him that could never be fixed. His bank accounts were frozen. The company fired him. His credit cards were maxed out. Friends stopped calling. The shelter had been full for 3 nights straight. He had $23 left. Maybe enough for a few meals. But the emptiness in his stomach matched the emptiness in his heart. "Mister?" A small voice broke through his dark thoughts. A little girl stood nearby, maybe 8 years old. Her worn coat was held together with safety pins. Her sneakers had holes. Her hair was braided neatly. Despite looking poor, her face was clean, and her eyes were kind. "What?" His voice came out rough and harsh. She didn't run away. Instead, she studied him carefully. "Are you okay? You look really cold and hungry." Her simple concern hit him hard. When was the last time someone truly cared about him? Robert let out a bitter laugh. "I'm fine. Go home." "You don't look fine," she said matter-of-factly. "You look like my grandma when Grandpa died, and she stopped eating. Sad and hungry and cold all at once." She stepped closer, holding out her mittened hand. In it was a wrapped mint candy. "My grandma says sharing helps when people are hurting. You can have this. It's all I got, but we can split it." Robert stared at the candy. This child had almost nothing, yet she was offering to share with a rude stranger. The mint probably cost 50 cents, but right now, it meant everything. "I don't need your pity," he whispered weakly. "It's not pity," she replied honestly. "My grandma makes soup every night. Not much, but it's warm. You could eat with us if you want." "Why would you do that?" His voice cracked. "You don't know me. I could be dangerous." She thought about it seriously. "You could be, but you're not. Dangerous people don't cry on benches when they think nobody's watching. Grandma says you can tell a lot about people by how they talk and look you in the eyes." Her words nearly broke him. "What's your name?" "Jasmine Washington." "What's yours?" "Robert Mitchell." He looked at the candy, then at her earnest face. His pride fought against his desperate hunger and loneliness. "Yes, Jasmine, I'd like that soup very much." Her smile lit up the darkening evening. "Good. Grandma will be happy. She says food tastes better when it's shared." They walked through streets Robert had never really seen. From his luxury apartment and expensive cars, he'd only viewed San Francisco from above. Now, at street level, he noticed everything. The steam from manholes, the flickering neon signs, the small communities around bus stops. Jasmine talked the whole way. School, friends, her teacher who brought extra sandwiches for hungry kids. Her words revealed a life lived on the edge. Grandma worked late doing sewing jobs. They sometimes ate at the community center when free meals were offered. But Jasmine never complained. She seemed genuinely happy. The building was old and worn. Red brick darkened with dirt. Peeling paint. A crooked front door. But inside, someone had swept the stairs and cleaned the mailboxes. "Grandma," Jasmine called at a third-floor apartment. "I brought someone who needs soup." The door opened. An elderly woman appeared, maybe 65, with gray hair pulled back and sharp, intelligent eyes. Dorothy Washington studied Robert carefully, taking in his expensive but dirty clothes and hollow cheeks. "Jasmine, honey, what did I tell you about bringing strangers home?" Her voice was gentle but concerned. "He's hungry, Grandma. Really, really hungry. And he's been sleeping outside." Dorothy examined Robert closely. Her experienced eyes saw everything. This wasn't a typical homeless man. His posture and clothes told a different story. "You running from the law?" she asked directly. "No, ma'am. Just running from everything else." "Family? Not anymore." The words came out broken. Dorothy's expression softened. She'd heard that tone before. "What happened to you?" The story poured out. The betrayal. Discovering his son wasn't his. His best friend's lies spanning 8 years. The public humiliation. Frozen accounts. Everyone abandoning him. Dorothy listened without judgment. When he finished, she asked, "When did you last eat a real meal?" 2 days ago. Maybe 3. Her expression changed. The wariness mixed with compassion. "Well, we can't let someone starve on our doorstep. Come in, but wipe your feet. This may not be much, but it's clean." The apartment was tiny but immaculate. Everything organized perfectly. The smell of soup filled the air, making Robert's stomach clench with hunger. Dorothy served soup into 3 bowls. It was thick with beans, vegetables, and bits of chicken. Homemade bread accompanied it. After 2 days without food, Robert's hands shook as he lifted the spoon. The first taste was heaven. Not just food, but warmth spreading through his body. This was care made real. Love expressed through sharing. "This is incredible," he said quietly. "Thank you." "What did you do before?" Dorothy asked. "I owned an import company. Had 200 employees." Jasmine's eyes widened. "You were rich." "I thought I was," Robert said sadly. "Turns out I was just lucky for a while." "Money runs out," Dorothy said wisely. "But some things don't." She gestured around the tiny apartment. "Jasmine and I lost everything 3 years ago when her parents died. Lost our house, most of our belongings. But we still had each other. How do you keep going when everything falls apart?" Robert asked. "One day at a time," Dorothy said simply. "Focus on what you still have instead of what you've lost. Help when you can, even if it's just soup or a kind word." "Where are you staying tonight?" Dorothy asked after the meal. "The park bench. The shelter's been full." Dorothy was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she decided. "The couch folds out. It's not comfortable, but it's warmer than concrete. You can stay tonight." "I couldn't." "You don't repay it," Dorothy interrupted gently. "You get back on your feet, then help the next person who needs it. That's how we keep humanity alive." That night, lying on the thin mattress, listening to the family settle in for sleep, Robert Mitchell began to believe that maybe somehow he could learn to truly live again. The next weeks brought routine and healing. Dorothy made clear the arrangement was temporary, but gave him stability. She watched him carefully, noting his trauma but also his character. He washed dishes, helped Jasmine with homework, tried to contribute despite their protests. "You're not a bad man," she told him one evening. "Just a broken one. And broken can be fixed. After 3 weeks, Dorothy announced, "There's a job placement program downtown. You're going tomorrow." "I don't think I'm ready." "You're as ready as you'll ever be. We've given you time to heal. Now build something new." His first job was loading trucks for minimum wage. The work was brutally physical, but Robert embraced it. Every ache felt like penance. More importantly, exhaustion brought peace. Dorothy let him stay while he saved money. Pay what you can toward food and help with whatever needs doing. Living close revealed their daily struggles. Dorothy's disability check barely covered rent. He watched them choose between heat and groceries. Yet the apartment was filled with laughter and genuine affection he'd never known. Jasmine amazed him with her determination. "I'm going to college someday," she said with certainty. "I'll be a teacher and help other kids who don't have much." 3 months later, Robert rented a small room 6 blocks away. Just a bed, a dresser, and a hot plate. But it was his earned through honest work. "You did it," Jasmine said, bouncing with excitement. Robert knelt, emotion thick in his throat. "We did it. I couldn't have gotten here without you and your grandmother. You saved my life." The months that followed brought steady progress. Within 6 months, Robert was promoted to shift supervisor. He created better systems, improved safety, guided new workers with patience. For the first time, he solved problems not for profit, but to make life easier for hard-working people. After 2 years of saving, Robert opened Mitchell Delivery Services in a rented garage with 1 used van. The model was simple: reliable service, fair prices, long-term relationships. Dorothy kept the books. Jasmine organized files. Success was measured not in millions, but in something more satisfying. Building something sustainable that supported his community and the people he loved. One evening, Jasmine waited on the old park bench where they first met. Now 11 taller, but her smile still warm. "I brought you something," she said, offering a wrapped mint candy. Robert took it, memories flooding back. "What's this for?" "To help you remember that night you were too proud to take it. It was the only help you had." He unwrapped the mint, tasting the cool sweetness. "Why is it important to remember?" "Because sometimes people think being poor means you have nothing to give," Jasmine answered wisely. "But that's not true. We always have something. Sometimes the smallest thing changes someone's whole life." "You saved my life," Robert said. "You and your grandmother showed me what real wealth is." "You saved ours too," Jasmine replied. "Grandma doesn't worry every night anymore. You made us safe." Dorothy appeared at the park's edge. "Dinner's ready. I made that stew you both like." Walking between Dorothy and Jasmine as evening light faded, Robert thought about how far he'd come. Once he measured success by bank accounts and possessions. Now he measured it by a girl's laughter, an old woman's trust, and knowing he'd built something meaningful from ruins. In his wallet, behind his license, he kept the original mint wrapper. It reminded him daily that even the smallest gesture of compassion can change a life forever, and that those who have the least often give the most from their hearts.